live. You're live.
All right, we're live. So welcome to everybody out there in Facebook land, and welcome to everybody here. So we want to get started because we only have 90 precious minutes. How much time do we have, guys?
90
minutes. Yeah, 90 precious minutes. And 90 precious minutes, you know, it sounds like it's a lot of time, but boy, how many would agree 90 minutes goes by quickly, right? I mean, it does, especially when there's so much wisdom and knowledge to be learned and to be shared that of all the wisdom and knowledge that's out there in the universe, what percentage of it do you currently think you already know? What percentage of all the wisdom and knowledge that's out there do you think you actually know? Yeah, I mean, like, it's a ridiculously small amount. And herein lies one of the biggest problems, guys, is that, you know, I'm reading a book right now. I didn't bring it in with me. Don wrote the 4 Agreements. Did anybody read the 4 Agreements? It's really it's a tremendous book of books, but so set out over and over. And I'm going to call it the voice of knowledge. The voice of knowledge. Thank you. And in the book, one of the major themes is that when we begin to acquire knowledge, when we begin to acquire knowledge, yeah, exactly. Now here's the problem: is that mixed in with knowledge, it's contaminated with light. So what's knowledge contaminated with? And so a lot of the that you have been receiving from the time you were born has been contaminated with. But do you think you even question those lies, or do you believe your knowledge to be the truth? What do you think? Are your beliefs true for you?
Yes. Yeah.
What if I was to tell you 90% of your beliefs are based in lies? How many think that's actually possible?
Yes.
Right? Okay, so until you become aware. What's the word?
Aware.
Come on, twist it loud.
Aware.
That your mind is totally contaminated. What's the word?
Contaminated.
Twice as loud.
Contaminated.
Yeah. Your mind is contaminated. That's the truth. Until you become aware. What's the word?
Aware.
Nothing you can do about it. I'm aware. Great. So 90 minutes is not a lot of time on this. You've been living in a contaminated mind your whole life. Yeah, 90 minutes is like scratching the surface of what you get to get to where you want to go. I understand what I just said. Great. So, you guys have something like this?
Yeah.
Everybody has something like this. So, would you please or I say or whatever, do just we're not going to have your phone going off during the course of training. Do I have an agreement on that? Yes? All right, great, thank you. Now, the second thing is we are a mastermind. So, what are we, guys?
Mastermind.
Yeah, you can give me the definition of a mastermind besides Randy, because Randy's my best. Randy knows this stuff off by heart, and he's heard it enough. And thank you, Randy. I always appreciate you. Definition of a mastermind. Yes, go ahead.
It's a group of minds that get together to take the best of each other.
Very, very good. That's a big part of it. There are other things that go along with it, and one of the key parts is not only is it a group of minds that are coming together, but what we can Casey say when they're in the spirit of harmony. Yeah, what's the word, guys?
Harmony.
What's loud?
Harmony.
Yeah, we're all together in the spirit of harmony, right? When we come together in the spirit of harmony, of all in the true. So in a mastermind, guess who gets to participate?
Everyone.
Who? Yeah, every single one of you gets to participate. And in fact, as we're talking about what we're going to be talking about today, you're certainly going to have your own unique experiences, especially we're going to be talking about things like sales. How many of you guys have an attitude about sales, salespeople, the whole process of selling? Raise your hand. Everybody has an attitude about it. It might be a good one, it might be a bad one, but raise your hand if you have an attitude about everything. Yeah, so you already have a blueprint, a belief system when it comes to selling and marketing and promoting. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you don't understand what I just said. It's not like, oh, I've never thought about it. Oh, you definitely have. You already know exactly how you feel about selling and marketing and promoting. Raise your hand if you agree with that. And if you don't agree with that, you're lying to yourself because you have an attitude about everything. As soon as you see something, you like it or not like it. As soon as you meet somebody, you like them or you don't like them. We create opinions about everything instantaneously, don't we? That's how our brain works, right? This is how our brain compartmentalize and put people into certain groups. I see this person, they remind me of that person, right? I mean, this is how our brains work, right? So all of us have unique experiences, and during our mastermind, if you have something that you want to share, an experience that you had, an epiphany you had, something that held you back, something that's been a block for you, then you know what? There's a good likelihood someone else might well learn from your experience. True or true?
True.
So how many of you would be willing to be open to share? What's the word?
Share.
Yeah, open to share. What are the words?
Open to share.
Yeah, well, and open to receiving. What's the word?
Open to receiving.
Not necessarily just from Jeff, but for whoever else is out there sharing, because their share may be exactly what you need to hear right now. How many are open to that? Right, because there are no accidents. How many would agree? Right? There are no accidents. Of all the things you could be doing this morning, it's not an accident that you chose to be here. How many would agree? Not an accident, right? And if you're watching right now on Facebook, it's not an accident that you're watching. How many would agree that there are no accidents? Right? So there's somebody here you were meant to meet. There was some kind of message you were meant to hear. How many would agree with that? That's why you're here, right? The law of attraction is always at force. How many would agree with that? Right? See, I totally agree with that. All right, so the only thing I ask is that we have no sidebar conversations. So do I have everybody's agreement on that? No sidebar conversations? And if your neighbor happens to be deciding to have a conversation, you have my permission to whack them on the side of the head and ask them to please shut up. All right, do I have everybody's agreement on that? Okay, step into your power, don't shut up. Now, a lot of people don't have the nerve to do that. How many would agree? Yeah, I mean, very often I'll see people, they don't have the nerve or they're trying to be too polite. But how many of you guys really want to have a ton of success in your life? And not only a ton of success, but a ton of passion and joy. A ton of don't. How about a ton of money on top of that? Then you know the greatest way you can do this to impact as many people as possible. Did you know that? And the best way to do that is to do what I'm doing right now, which is to learn how to be able to take what you're passionate about and be able to share your passion in a way that other people get value from it. You guys understand what I'm talking about? And there's a system. What's the word?
System.
Yeah, when you learn the system, then you can convey your message in such an authentic way, because you're not faking it. You're being your authentic self, right? And all of you have an authentic story that you could tell that people could learn from. How many would agree? And if you wanted to, within a few months of just working at it, you could begin to have the skills to be able to speak and present and to train and to facilitate. What's the word?
Facilitate.
Yeah, that's really a big thing, when you learn how to facilitate other people's learnings. Because it's not so much how much you teach, it's much how much you learn. Right? The great teacher is great at helping their students learn. Understand that? Right? Okay. So when you become really good at that, you're going to have a lot of and not only are they going to be students, they're going to get informational information from you. You're going to be able to change their lives. How many of you would love to be able to change people's lives? Yeah, absolutely. Great. Hi, Tim. Great to see you. Grab a donut. Right? So the thing is that, like I said, is that these are transformational opportunities. So the last thing I ask before we get started is that for the next 90 minutes, I want for you guys to play as warriors. I want you to play all out. Do I have everybody's agreement on that?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Come on, twice as loud.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Okay, very good. So let me ask you guys a couple of questions. How many would like to have a whole lot more money in your life? Can I see show of hands? Terrific. How many would like to have a whole lot more happiness in your life? How many want to have a whole lot more of both in your life?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, you are definitely at the right place. Welcome to Tuesday Mornings with Jeff. It's so great to see you guys. Wow. Here, I'll move the donuts out here. Come and grab some donuts, guys, while they're still fresh. And there's still some left. Otherwise, I'll go in a hurry. But come and grab some donuts, right? So again, welcome to Tuesday Mornings with Jeff. And Tuesday Mornings with Jeff, really, it's all about this book right here called Secrets of the
Millionaire Mind.
Secrets of the
Millionaire Mind.
What does that mean, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind? What's a millionaire mind? What is it?
Mindset.
It's a mindset, right? What kind of a mindset is it? A millionaire mindset.
Abundant.
Strong.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if you look at the subtitle, Nobody ever talks about the subtitle, but really, this is what the book is all about. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind is a marketing tool. What is it?
A marketing tool.
Yeah, do you think everybody wants a millionaire mind?
Yes.
Yeah, do you think everybody wants to know the secrets?
Yes.
Did you think that Harv spent a little bit of time figuring out what he wanted to call his book?
Yes.
Yeah, so what he sold you was the sizzle. Do you want a millionaire mind?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. He's talking about millions. Millions of what? Millions of dollars, probably, right? How many would agree? But what's the subtitle? Mastering the Inner Game of Wealth. So what's the subtitle? Do you think people really want to master the wealth, or do you think they just want to be rich? Yeah, so what's the subtitle? Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. So he sells you the sizzle, but then he tells you what you need. True or true?
True.
Most people never understand marketing because everybody wants the million. You think people want personal development? They want millions. Don't you? No. I told you the only way to get those millions is to go through the personal development. You can't get one without the other. True or true? True. Yeah, and I was saying before, and by the way, yesterday was Harv's birthday. So what I do for all of us to do is, somebody take a camera if they would, and we're going to sing Happy Birthday to Harv. Then I'm going to send it to Harv, right? I'm going to send it to Harv. And all of us are, because I'm telling you, Harv has been my greatest mentor. If you take his energy, it's a high level energy, right? It's not placid. In Harv's world, everything is energy, and if you're going to be an entrepreneur and you want to get massive results, you need to put up massive action. How many would agree? Yeah. Massive action requires massive energy. How many would agree?
Yes.
If you're in it 100%, or don't get in it at all. How many would agree? Yep. Okay. So that's Harv's energy. And when I went and worked with Harv as his right-hand man to build the company, he made sure that I understood that I was really I was at home office. He was on the road all the time. He was in front of 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 people. I was in front of 135 employees. But the same energy he had in front of those thousands of people, I had the exact same energy back at home office. Because everything trickles down from the top. How many would agree? How many of you would love to be leaders of others? Right? Be a shining example for others. If you're going to be successful, how many would agree you have to be capable of getting other people to lead you, to follow you, right? But you know what? Sometimes the best leaders were at one time the best
followers.
That's a fact. The best followers do become the best leaders in many, many instances. Because they followed a great leader, and that was their mentor. I think that having a great mentor means a lot, right? When it came to being a leader in the realm of business and entrepreneurship and mindset, there's not a hard. And I'm sorry, I'm from a personal perspective, I've known him since he was a kid. I'm telling you, I've seen the best of the best. I've seen Tony Robbins. I've seen Gary Vee. I've seen Grant Cardone. I've seen all Zig Ziglar. Everybody else. If it comes to you want to make a lot of money and actually manifesting that in your life, how many would like to manifest making a lot of money in your life? Yeah. Now, it's first of all, I shouldn't say making a lot of money because we don't make money. We earn. What do we do? We earn money. We don't make money. The printing press doesn't make money, right? We earn money, right? So the whole idea is we're going to be able to earn a lot of money to have a certain mindset. Have a certain mindset. We're talking a lot more about that. But before we do, what I want everybody to do is, wow, are there any more chairs in the back? Scott, we got one chair over here. But so great to see everybody. Awesome. Yeah, we've got an awesome crowd here today. Very, very good. Excellent. Hi, Mitch. Good to see you. Okay, so Harv's birthday was yesterday, but we're meeting here today. So I want all of us in real appreciation to Harv and Harv truly is a life transformational guy. So let's all together come together and let's sing Harv's birthday. I beg pardon? Want me to video here? Well, I don't think we have enough time, do we? Do you have anything to say? Oh, is anyone taking it? Okay, Drew, we got you doing it? Okay, very good. Okay, so you know what? Let's all stand up on the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Woo! All right, great energy. All right, so here we go. We're going to sing Happy Birthday to Harv. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Harv. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Okay, all together. I've got a millionaire mind. Let me hear ya.
I've got a millionaire mind.
All right, both your neighbors say, you're awesome. You're awesome. All right, you're awesome. Have a seat. Have a seat. Okay, good. That way we can send it over to Harv, and I'm sure Harv will appreciate it. Have a seat, guys. Thank you. Okay, so we have this thing where 80% of all success is just what, guys? Showing up. If you can just keep showing up, there's a good chance you're going to be successful. Just never stop showing up. How many would agree? You never stop showing up. So 80% of all success is, again, what? Showing up. Yeah, so what I want, and I totally appreciate all of you guys showing up here this morning and putting your time and making it a lot. All of you guys that actually make it come. Thank you so much for that. And those of you that are watching, and thank you guys so much. It means a lot to me when you guys show up. Everything is going to be great. The more people that we have, and the more people that are here, the more energy that we're sharing. There's actually energy that's optimal for learning. How many would agree with that? Right? And this is the exact kind of energy that you want to be in if your goal is to learn. How many think that's a good idea? Right? And as much as possible, you know, what I like to do is I like to remind you that I have 2 rules. How many rules? 2. And the first rule is don't believe a word I say. Yeah, why am I always reminding you about that? Don't believe a word I say. It's just my experience. My experience may be true for me, but it may not be true for you. Isn't that correct? Yeah. It doesn't make my experience doesn't make things true or false or right or wrong. It just makes it my experience. But whose experience is the most important here this morning? Mine. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Your experience is the most important, and those of you that are watching as well, right? So all I can tell you for sure, is that the principles and the ideas that we share every single Tuesday morning have guaranteed they've transformed my lives, and now they've transformed the lives of hundreds of thousands and thousands and thousands. Yeah, thank you. Thousands of other people, and if you learn these principles, and much more importantly, if you actually do them in your life, I'm totally convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that your life can be transformed too. How many would like to have your life transformed? Great, thank you. So all I can ask is how many of you guys want to be open? And what's the key word to be?
Open.
Yeah, open, so that you're not only going to listen to these ideas, you're actually going to do them in your life. You're going to not just, again, the learning is in the doing. How many would agree? Right? So you're going to actually do these principles, the things that we talk about. You're going to do them in your life, and if they work for you, what are you going to do? If they work, you're going to keep on doing them. And if they don't work for you, what are you going to do? You're going to toss them out the window. You don't have to keep them at all. So if it doesn't work for you, you don't have to do it. But you have to be open to at least doing it and checking it out. How many are open to that? Okay, everybody open 100%? Yes. Anybody not want to be open 100%? Okay, we're going to be finding out, aren't we? Okay, now as for rule number 2, since we're all spending our precious time here, how many agree your time is precious? Thank you. So what's more precious than our time?
Nothing.
Nothing is more precious than our time, at least I don't believe so. So since we're spending our precious time here, how many want to get the very most out of this training?
Yes.
Excellent. How many want to learn faster?
Yes.
Thank you. How many want to remember more of what you learned? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Terrific. And research indicates that the key to all of that is what?
Participation.
Come on, guys, what's the word? Participation and involvement, absolutely. How many of you guys notice I do ask a lot of questions? You guys notice that? Right, so what do questions do? Yeah, did you know the best trained salespeople in the world, guess what their master's at? Asking
Questions.
Yeah, intelligent, pre-planned questions. That's what they do. You know, and I was lucky enough that I started my business career in 1970, at the end of 1975 with Xerox in their sales training division in sales. and they had the world's greatest sales training ever, in my opinion, and learning those skills and being great at sales, which is one of the things we're going to be talking about today, wealth fall number 8, made all the difference in the world to me. So, hi Sheila, great to have you. Thank you for coming. So the thing is, I do ask a lot of questions, and you know what? You guys need to become an expert. What's the word?
Expert.
At asking questions. Everybody loves to talk. You need to be an expert at becoming an expert question asker and then a listener, an observer. Because the more information you get, the more you can help somebody. True.
True.
And then you can start focusing on what are their needs instead of what you got to sell them. True. Yeah, absolutely. So asking questions is critical because you know what? I truly believe every single one of you are so close to financial freedom you don't even realize it. You're really basically one skill set away. That's all you are. You're one skill set away. And really that skill set probably more than anything is in the area of marketing and sales. What are the words?
Marketing and sales.
Yeah, marketing and sales. One thing about Harv Eker, I can tell you, is of all the people I ever met in my entire lifetime, I knew nobody who could market and sell quite like Harv. He could get thousands of people to come to his events and then sell them thousands of dollars of stuff when they came. Is that good marketing?
Yes.
Is that good sales?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he made more in a weekend than most many people make in a decade. How would you like to be that person? Now, he wasn't in business to earn a living. He was in business to create wealth. How many agree there's a difference between having a mindset of earning a living and having a mindset to create wealth? What do you think most people's mindsets are set for?
Living.
And guess what they make?
Living.
That's it. How many of you have a mindset to create wealth? Yes. Well, guess what? Most people are not programmed or trained to have a mindset for wealth. And in fact, they're sabotage themselves every time they start moving up the ladder. Somehow, something negative will happen in their life and knock them back down to their comfort zone. True. I see it happen all the time, every day. Right? And they say, oh, just some bad luck, some bad timing. No, that's your blueprint. Right? That's what we're going to be talking about, your blueprint. So the thing is, sometimes I'll leave the very last word off the end of my sentence and your mind just fills in the blank. Yeah, you guys are good. Sometimes I'll ask you to write something down. Sometimes I'll ask you to repeat things. Now, why do I ask you guys to repeat something?
Coming from your own words, from your mouth, makes you remember.
It helps you remember. It's coming from your own words, your own mouth. Yes, go ahead.
When I say it, it means, when you say it, it means one thing. When I say it, it means everything.
Yeah, say it again so everybody can hear.
When you say it, it means one thing. When I say it, it means everything.
Yeah, absolutely. If I say it, it means one thing, but if I can get you guys to say it, it means everything. Thank you. How many would agree with that? Thank you. So how many guys are willing to participate this morning 100%? Is everybody not? Okay, we're going to find out. And just for the record, how many of you guys wouldn't raise your hands no matter what I asked you? Okay, smarty aleck. Okay, very good. Always the wise guy, right? How many guys want to have some fun this morning?
Yeah.
Awesome, great, very good. So before we get started into today's wealth fall, is it okay if I tell you a little bit about my background, specifically as it relates to today's wealth fall? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Would that be all right? Thank you. So I was living in Ottawa, Canada, and born and raised there. Anybody ever been to Ottawa? Anybody ever been? Oh, one person. All right, very good. Hope you were there in the summertime. Okay, good. It sucks in the winter. So when I was graduating college, I'd worked my way through college. It did come. My dad had passed away when I was a year old, and my mom had a little store, and she worked hard just to earn a living. And so I was graduating from college, and I had decided that there was no way I wanted to live my life in Canada. I wanted to come down here to the States where it was nice and warm. So I didn't just come to the States, I wanted to the warm part of the States. How many of you are here from somewhere else? Okay, so just about everybody in the room. So we all came here pretty much for the same reason, right? And I'm curious, for those that are watching, you know, if you're here in Phoenix and you came from somewhere else, you know, because almost everywhere I go, the first thing I say is, where are you? Yeah, because almost everybody says, well, I'm from, you know, Detroit or Chicago or New York or California. I mean, everybody's from somewhere else, right? So I had no money. I was graduating from college, and I knew I could get a job no problem because all the major companies come on campus and recruit the business graduates. Raise your hand if you believe that's true, especially back in the 70s. And so I didn't know, but I definitely did not want to work at just a 9-to-5 job, make it a salary. I wanted to make a lot of money so somehow I could come down to the States and go to grad school here. Because that was a good way for me to get into the States. But I was broke. So I said, well, I went to the guidance counselor in the employment office, and I said, well, what job pays the most money? What do you think she said? Sales. What do you think she said? Sales. How many agree? Sales makes the most money. I said, well, that's what I want. I said, well, what company pays the most? What company pays the most to the salespeople? And she said, Xerox. So I said, that's the company I want to go work for. I want to work for a company that pays the best in the profession that earns the best. How many think that's a good idea? Yeah. So she said, well, good luck getting hired by Xerox because they virtually never, ever, ever hire somebody fresh out of college. Because how many would agree that there's a difference between being a college student on a college campus and being out there on the street, walking into stores, getting kicked in the groin, crotch, groin, whatever you got, right? There's a difference, right? I mean, it takes a little bit of seasoning, true. Because when you're in university, trust me, it's like a bubble. It's not the real world. How many would agree? You're surrounded by a bunch of academics, everybody's on their skateboards, drinking beer, having a good time. It's right. And the whole idea is, well, geez, I don't want to actually go into the real world. Can I borrow some more money so I can stay in school longer, right? This is what goes on out there, by the way. How many believe that's true?
It's true.
Because you think when you're a kid graduating from college, you're really prepared to go out there in the real world and start earning a real living? No way, man, no way. For most people, that's not true. There's always the exception. But I was on a mission. My mission was, well, how could I earn the most amount of money in the least amount of time so I could get the hell out of Canada? Because I'm proud to be a Canadian. I just don't want to live there, right? and Harv, I met Harv. Harv and I were friends back in Canada. Harv didn't want to live there any more than I wanted to live there, right? We both wanted to go where it's nice and warm. And so she said, Xerox virtually never hires anybody out of college because they're not seasoned enough. Usually you got to have 2-3 years. School of hard knocks, take your bruises, find out what the real world's all about, get humbled a little bit. And then, if you're the right stuff, then they'll hire you. But you got to be the right stuff. So I said, well, what do I got to do to have a chance? And she said, well, join this fraternity and sign up to do these events and do these things. So when the guy comes on campus and sees how active you've been, he's going to say, well, you're Xerox type of material. After that, it's up to you. And luckily for me, how many of you guys began working when you were like 12, 13 years old? Okay. So I began working when I was just a little kid in my mom's store. But when I was 13, I became a busboy in a restaurant, and for the next 8 years, I worked virtually every single job in that restaurant. Now, when you're in the restaurant business, are you dealing with the public? Yeah, this was like one of the most popular restaurants in downtown Ottawa, Canada, which is the capital of Canada. And it's not a huge city, but it's a good-sized city. So I was dealing with the public all the time. As the waiter, as the maitre d', as the cashier, as the manager. I wore many, many different hats. So I already had the, hello? So okay, so I already had a lot of experience dealing with the public. Now, if you're going to be in sales, you think it's good to have a lot of experience dealing with the public?
Yeah.
Yeah, angry people, happy people, rude people, every kind of person you can imagine. Over those 8 years, from the time I was 13 to the time I was 21, I met every kind of people. People in good moods, people in bad moods, people who had nothing but complaints, people who were the nicest people in the world. So, I felt as though I had the personality to be okay in sales. I was not afraid to talk to anybody, and all I had to do was be shown what to do, I could do it. So they came on campus, and they invited me to come to their offices. And then for like about 3 hours, they had me take a whole bunch of tests. Have you ever gone into a company where they just had to give you a whole bunch of different tests? I don't know if they're IQ tests, aptitude tests. Are you more extroverted or introverted, or what was that thing that you were doing this past weekend? If you're more of a leader, are you more aggressive? Are you more passive? Are you more structured? Are you more free form? They want to know who you are, because Xerox had a very, very specific type of person they were looking for. You guys understand what I'm talking about? Right. They wanted someone who basically had all the right characteristics to be successful. They just need to be taught the profession of selling. The profession of
Selling.
Raise your hand if you believe that's a profession. Okay. Just like you could become a professional athlete, or you could become a professional at anything, you could become a professional at selling. How many would agree? And their goal was to take somebody who had the right material and turn them into a professional selling machine. How many of you guys would like to become a professional selling machine? And I will tell you that the methods that they taught me during the time I was there was extraordinary. If you Google Xerox sales training and people who have gone through the Xerox sales training systems, where they've ended up and the impact they've made on industry, it's huge. It's huge. In fact, Xerox packaged what they called PSS, Professional Selling Skills, and it was a training system to train your sales team how to sell successfully using what's called professional selling systems. And they became the world's largest at selling this program, because they understood something that few people understood, and my great friend Harv understands, and what every single one of you need to understand. They may have been in the office products photocopier business, but that's not really the business that they were in. You know what business they knew they were in?
People
They
business.
were in the marketing and selling business, and office products was just their commodity that they were selling. But they were a marketing and sales organization. What were they?
Marketing and sales.
Organization.
Guess what you need to be?
Marketing and sales.
Twice as loud.
Marketing and sales.
Yeah, and to them, you know, expenses were important, but the revenues were 10 times more important. How many would agree? Yeah, if you have two ways to work things out. You can either reduce your expenses or improve your income. Now, the ability to reduce your expenses, is that a certain skill set to know how to manage your money and reduce your expenses? Raise your hand if you agree that's true. You can learn how to become a good money manager. But the same skills it takes to manage your money, is that the same skills it takes to make a lot of money? No. Is that the same skills it takes to invest a lot of money? No. So there are three skills. How many?
3.
That almost every single one of you guys are lacking in, and until you become aware of it, there's nothing you can do about it. So the first skill is how to earn a lot of money, right? How to earn a lot of money. That's skill number 1. And 2 ways: working income and passive income. What kinds of income?
Working and passive.
Passive income. Okay, now the second thing is, how do you manage the money you earn? So that after you've earned all this money, are you blowing it? Are you investing it wisely? Are you living it according to your means? And then the third thing is, how do you make sure that you're investing a portion of everything you're earning into something that creates passive income streams? What kind of income?
Passive income streams.
Yeah, because if you invest your money into something that creates passive income streams, then eventually those passive income streams will create your financial freedom. How many think that's a good idea? Right? So, Xerox trained me to become a professionally trained salesperson. And it was a blessing and a curse, because since then I have sold millions of dollars of all kinds of different things. Whatever I get into, I usually do really, really well at selling. Not because I understand the principles of selling. How many think it would be a good idea to understand the principles of selling? Thank you. All right. So since that time, one of my biggest disappointments is that I meet people, lots of people, all the time. How many think that's true? I do. And I can usually tell a professionally trained salesperson from an amateur a mile away. How many think that's true? You can spot someone who's a professional. And in the last 42 years since I've lived in Phoenix, you know how many professional salespeople I've come across?
Many.
Certainly less than a handful. Why do you think that is? How many of you guys want to make a lot of money? You better become a professional at marketing and sales. I'm telling you, when I worked with Xerox, they assumed that they had a good back-end product. You better have a good back-end product. And if you're the person that's providing that service or that product, you put yourself in a no-win situation, because when do you have any time to do any sales and marketing? How many of you guys want to make a lot of money in a short period of time?
Yes.
Guess where you need to dedicate 70 to 80% of your time, your money, your effort, your concentration, everything.
Sales and marketing.
Guess what kind of people you need to surround yourself with?
Sales and marketing.
You, until you get this in your DNA, you will struggle. Xerox put it in my DNA in 1975, so that by the end of 1976, I could thank Xerox so much for all the training and the opportunity for me to sell there and promote their products, and leave Xerox and come down here and get my MBA here. And since then, I've never, ever, ever, ever seen any school, any organization, anybody train people the way Xerox trains people. Most people don't even realize that selling is a profession. It's a profession. What is it?
Profession.
It's a learnable skill. What is it?
Learnable skill.
And you know what's really, really exciting is when you learn that skill and you combine it with the right marketing, you're there. Because how would you like to be a professional at selling and you have a stream of people that want to talk to you, and all the people that want to talk to you are already interested in what you got? That's all about prospects all the time coming to you to talk to them about what they got going on and help them out. It's not so much about selling, it's about helping the other side buy. There's a different mindset if you're helping the other person get the right knowledge so they can make a good buying decision. Isn't that true? Yeah. People love to. They do. And you know the reason why people buy, you start talking to them, you need to discover what they're buying.
You need to discover.
You need to discover, you know, what motivates you to want this. You know, you might want the money, and another person might want the freedom. Two totally different things. For the person who wants the money, guess what you want to show them?
Right.
For the person who wants the freedom, guess what you want to show them? Yeah, until you discover what it is they're doing, how can you show how you solve their problem? You can't. You ask questions. You ask intelligent, pre-planned questions, right? They're taught us how to ask incredible pre-planned questions. And you know, right now at the 2% Club, just as an aside, you know, I want all you guys to come down and see what we got going on in Scottsdale. It's absolutely fantastic. And we're building something really incredible, and I want salespeople. I want professionally trained salespeople in my organization. So in order for that to happen, guess what I'm creating? A professional sales training system. A system. How many would like to learn a system? Because if you're going to come and sell for me, I'm not going to let you just come and sell for me if you don't have a system to be a professional. You think I want my club to be represented by anything but professionals?
No.
No, absolutely not. Do you think Xerox sets very high standards?
Yes.
Do you want to set high standards for yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, I set high standards for myself. I don't want to just say, oh, you want to sell for me? Yeah, go ahead. Here's the stuff. Go sell. No. No, so I want to have this amazing sales team. And the best way to create an amazing sales team is to come up with an amazing sales system, just like Xerox had. I don't even have to invent the wheel, do I? No, it's already been created for me, hasn't it? I've already been through it, haven't I? Yeah. How many times have you seen yourself on video to see exactly what you look like in the selling situation?
It's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, very few people have. What if for the next 90 days you were constantly reviewing how you did in a role play situation, and you knew what the template said you were supposed to be doing, and you had other people that could critique you in a good way, right? Because we're all here to
Harmony.
yeah. So in a loving way, we can look at other people's stuff, and if we all know the same template, we can lovingly correct them. True or true?
True.
And we're open-minded to know that this is a learning process. True or true?
True.
But you know what? There's a book called How to Learn to Do Anything in 20 Hours. And it's a book by, his name is Josh Kaufman. And he says in 20 hours, you're not going to become an expert. But if you practice something for 20 hours, which is basically 45 minutes a day for 30 days, you'll be better than like 99.9% of all the people. That's just in 20 hours. Good or good?
Good.
So if you practice objection handling for 20 hours, you know how much better you'd be than you are right now? Yeah. If you practice closing, how to close, how to deliver the close properly. Do you know how much better you'd be in 20 hours from now? If you practiced establishing rapport for 20 hours and you had the template for establishing rapport, if you took 20 hours and practiced asking intelligent probing questions in all of these areas, in 6 months from now, do you think you could be totally phenomenal in all areas of sales and marketing? Yes. Or just sales? Yes. Raise your hand if you could. Yeah, because there's a template for everything. There's a system. What's it called?
System.
You don't have to invent the wheel. It's already out there. How many believe that there are schools and there are courses that will teach you how to become incredible at selling? Yes. What's the fastest way for you to make money? Sell something, right? But if you have to be the person delivering it and you're spending all your time delivering it, then you don't have any time to do any selling. When's all the money made in any business? Selling. Where do you want to be spending all your time? Selling. Selling, selling. And you want to have a system. What's the word?
System.
That have qualified, fresh, new faces coming to you all the time. Because what's the definition of a business system? Who knows? Definition of a business system? Jonathan. Yeah, a repeatable process that produces a profit. Let me hear you say that.
A repeatable process that produces a profit.
Okay, that was weak. Let me hear it twice as loud.
Repeatable process that produces a profit.
And what's the very last, what's the last word in that phrase? Yeah, it has to produce a what? Profit. Do you have a repeatable process that produces a profit? Something that you do, when you do it, and they say, okay, here, I'll pay you, you've made a profit. It cost me $50 and I sell for $100. All right, so every time I sell this, if it costs me $50 and I'm selling it for $100, how much is my profit? $50. Okay, I figured out a way how to sell it to you. How much more money did I make? $50, right? Okay, now if I can repeat that system over and over and over again, I know one of every 5 people I talk to, if I present it to them that way, I'm going to make $50. Do I have a repeatable system I can count on? Yes. Yeah, now all I got to do is get my message out to millions of people, and one of every 5 is buying at $50 profit for me. That's a repeatable process that produces a profit. So, in order to make that profit, something must get sold. Say that out loud. Something must get sold. In order to make a profit, something must get sold. Say the whole sentence.
In order to make a profit, something must get sold.
Again.
In order to make a profit, something must get sold.
Okay. Are you in business? Do you earn an income, or does your business earn profits?
Profit.
My business earns profits.
Business earns profits. From now on, I don't want you to think about income. I want you to think about
Profit.
profits. Profits, 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 profits. And what drives profits more than anything are sales. What drives profits?
Sales.
Nothing happens until a sale happens. True or true? True. Nobody gets paid anything until there's money in the account to pay for it. True or true? True. Guess what you need to become great at? Sales. Yeah. Now, what we're going to talk about in this book right here is wealth file number 8. And who can tell me what a wealth file is? Who knows what a wealth file is? Who knows? Randy?
We have programs in our mind that determine our behaviors and our habits, and Harv's suggesting that we reprogram with his what do you say it was?
His wealth files?
Wealth files. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
His wealth
All right,
files
very
are
good.
the new program.
So here's the thing, guys. Here's what we know. The best thing you can do is learn how your own mind works. That's the best gift you could ever give yourself. To learn and study and truly understand how your own mind works. Because if you understand how it works, then you can do something with it, right? You can master it, you can control it. And if you understand how your mind works, guess what else you understand? How everybody else's minds work. Do you think that would be a smart thing for you to understand how your mind works and how everybody else's mind works?
Yes.
Darn right. Absolutely. The more you understand your own mind and how your own mind works, the more that you can create good habits in yourself. More importantly, and sometimes scary, is that You can act, once you understand how other people's minds work, there are people that will manipulate. I don't believe that's true. Yeah, they'll manipulate it for their own profit because they understand people's egos and how to stroke their egos the right way and how to create all kinds of ideas that sounds great, but at the end of the day, the only one winning is the person who's manipulating, right? So once you understand how the mind works, you have to use it only for good. And when you read about the greatest philosophers of all time, they'll tell you that when you become great at communication, and by the way, sales is really all about communication. How many would agree? Communication mixed with energy, enthusiasm. What's the word?
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiastic knowledge delivered the right way with certainty and confidence. There's virtually nothing that will trump it. So you will learn all this stuff, right? You will learn all this. So what Harv said is this. He said, from the beginning of time, from the beginning of your life, you started experiencing through your five senses. How many agree? That's how we experience stuff. Through what we see, what we touch, what we hear, what we feel, all that stuff. Okay. Now, what happens is as you're experiencing all these things, you interpret them. Now, when you're a baby, you can only interpret them a certain way because you have nothing to compare what you're learning against, any past experience. True or true?
Sure.
So we're like sponges when we're kids growing up. How many agree? We're like sponges. Our brains are just absorbing everything. Do you think the brain can separate the fact from the fiction? No. The brain is just absorbing it all, and it's not like later on you can go back to what you heard when you were 2 or 3 or 4 years old and say, oh, that was bullshit. You don't. It's already in there. It's already part of your belief system. You guys understand what I just said? Guess how much bullshit there is in your belief system right now? Because the fact is, once it's in your subconscious mind, it's there forever. You guys understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So what Harv is saying is, the first thing you need to understand is that there's 98% of all the people that think one way, and there's only maybe 2% of all the people that think another way. And I'm one of those 2%. Would it be okay if I shared with you, here's how the 98% of the people think, here's how the 2% think, here's what's in your files, here's what's in my files. You're an adult now. Do you want to keep thinking the way you've always thought, or are you open, what's the word? Open to a whole new belief system, and your conscious mind, your ego says, but I've been this way my whole life. I'm not going to change. That would mean everything I've lived up until now wasn't true. Right? We hate change. True or true?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to learn to be in your highest self and say, I want to be part of the 2%. I want to be happy. I want to be joyous. And the only thing that's stopping me is my current belief system. How many believe that's true? So what Harv did was Harv said, I'm going to identify 17. How many?
17.
Very, very, very unique files. And we're going to pull out the files and we're going to examine the files of the 98 and then the files of like my 2%. And we're going to compare and contrast, and you're going to be able to identify with a lot of this stuff. And then after you become aware, because you can't change till you become aware. How many would agree? The first step of change is what?
Aware.
What's the first step of change?
Aware.
Awareness. That is always the first step of change, right? Now, the second step in change, who knows what the second step is? Anybody know? We actually, it's in the first part of the book. We started during this year. What is it?
Understanding.
Twice it loud.
Understanding.
Everybody know understanding. What's the word?
Understanding.
How in the world did this programming ever get into your brain in the first place? You have to understand, where did this programming come from? And you have to understand, how has this programming affected my life and my decisions in life? You think that's important to understand? Yeah. You have to get a real good understanding of where did all this ridiculous programming that stops me from my success, where did it come from? And how has this programming affected my happiness, my success, my choices in life? Now the third step is what? Who knows?
Disassociation.
Twice it loud?
Disassociation.
Disassociation. Is it possible for you to decide on your own that your old belief system isn't serving you anymore and you'd rather have a belief system that serves you better? Is it possible to make that choice? Yeah. When are you allowed to make that choice?
Now.
When are you allowed to choose?
Now.
Right now. If you want to, you can say, you know what? I've always believed that you could never take any risks in life, because if you took any risks in life, that you always lost and you were never, ever, ever going to have any success. But you know what? That was what my parents always taught me. And sometimes great opportunities come along, and I'm so risk averse, I don't have the balls to do anything. And if I don't have the balls to do anything, I'll never, ever really be successful, because you have to have some courage. How many would agree? Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my old belief system. I'm going to disassociate from what my parents taught me and what everybody else taught me. And now the fourth step comes in, which is called reconditioning. What's it called? Reconditioning. Yeah, because I met this guy, Harbecker, and he said, if you take calculated risks, the worst that can happen is you'll get back to where you started from, and you'll do it again, and you'll correct it, and you'll continue until you get there. Because you won't know whether something's going to work until you try it. True or true? True. And if you wait until you know 100% something's going to work before you try it, you know when you'll start?
Never.
Never. Okay, so do you think successful entrepreneurs have to be willing to take a risk?
Yes.
In sales, do you have to take a risk?
Yes.
What's the risk? What else?
Open your mouth.
Getting a no.
Getting a no? What other risks do you experience? Lost opportunity time, absolutely, John. What else? Do you risk not making any money? Is that a big risk? Yeah. Are you prepared to take that risk?
Yeah.
You know, if you're an entrepreneur, you better be prepared that that might be an outcome. True or true?
True.
That's a risk. That's why a lot of people want a job, because there's security in the job. All they got to do is show up, they'll get paid. True or true? True. Okay, do you want freedom? Yes. Are you ever going to get freedom from a job? No. Now, what I always suggest is if you do have a job, the smartest thing you can do is start a side gig. How many think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got the security of the income from the job, but what that means is that in the evenings, guess what you're investing all of your time and your efforts on? Your side gig, right, which eventually will become your full-time gig. True or true? True. But this is, you know, and so you always have options. Now, wealth file number 8 says this. Rich people, and it's on page 101, so if you have the book, raise your hand if you don't have the book. You don't have the book. Okay, do me a favor, maybe you can find someone or someone that you can share, someone nearby that can share the book with you so that you can kind of share along, okay guys, because it's really great. And I would encourage every single one of you guys, hey, you know what, you can probably buy this book on Amazon like for $5. Yeah, so I mean, this book is available, and I'm telling you, this is a book to be studied, right? Okay, so get the book, and if you're at home, get the book. By the way, Ruben, do we have anybody joining us at all?
We have a lot of people coming and going.
Okay.
Right now we got Gonzalo, Michael. We had Memphis earlier coming in, chirping in from out of state, and then Larry Lilly. The list goes on and on. There's a bunch of names here.
Outstanding. Well, thanks to everybody for watching. All right, and if you have the book, pull it out as well. Okay, so rich people are willing to promote themselves and their value. So let's all say it together. Rich people are willing to promote themselves and their value. Poor people think negatively about selling and promotion. Let me hear you.
Poor people think negatively about selling and promotion.
Now, you know, there's a book called Go for No. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of the book Go for No. I love that book. And in it, you know, they talk about the 5 levels of failure. So how many levels are there? 5. Okay. So the first level is the ability to fail, right? The ability to fail. So what percentage of all people do you think out there have the ability to fail?
All of them.
100%. Okay. So 100% of all people have the ability to fail. Right. Now, the first group, yes, go ahead.
Does anybody know the author of Go for No?
Go for No,
Gittimer? Is it Gittimer?
No. It's a husband and wife. It'll come to
Nobody
me.
knows.
Okay.
Out of all this mastermind,
Okay. That's amazing. And
we
I
have
know,
to go to Google.
and I know her name and I know his name, and right now I'm drawing a blank. Richard Fenton.
Oh,
So
wow.
Richard Fenton is is the co-author, and his wife, I'm just drawing a blank on her name right now.
Andrea Waltz.
Thank you, Andrea Waltz. Thank you. Very, very good. Excellent, right? So in the book Go for No, and which is written by Andrea Wallace and Richard Fenton, it's really a great book. I love their material. I think they're really mind shift experts, and especially in the whole realm of sales and selling. And what they say is this: they say that level one. So level one represents about 90% of the people, and they they avoid failure. They hate rejection. They hate failure. 90% of all the people. So these people would say, if my choice is I got to take a job in selling, or I need to starve to death, you know what my choice is? Yeah. These are the people that will only take an absolute guaranteed job where they can just go, do their work, get paid for their time, and go home. You guys understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
There's no way in hell that they're going to take a job where they're basing their income based on how good they do at closing business. That's not even in their mindset. You guys understand what I'm talking about? Okay. Okay, now the second group of the people are usually like about the self-employed people. And the self-employed people, let's say they're the gardener. Guess what they love to do? Work on landscaping and gardening, right? Okay. They hate selling, but if they don't make any sales, they don't have any clients to do the gardening for. True or true?
True.
Yeah. So even though they hate failure, they accept it. Only until they get a job. Because once they get a job, then they can put all their time into working at the... Yeah, but once they lose that job, then they got to go out there and sell again. They hate selling. They don't like to sell, but they got to sell in order to survive. You guys understand what I'm talking about? Okay. Okay. So out of all the people that are out there, what percentage of all the people does that cover?
98%.
You guys are good at math. Very good. So a level 3 person, which is maybe like 1% of all the people, that not only do they accept it, they actually encourage it. Yeah. I know, doesn't that sound weird?
Learn from it.
Okay, so here's a very, very valuable lesson that all of you guys need to understand. Most people live in a world where here's how they look at things. Here's me. Over here is failure. And over here is success. And what I want to do is I want to run away from failure and run to success. Anybody can relate to this? Right? Yeah. You can relate to this, right? Right? Okay. And it's the same thing. No is over here. And here's me. And yes is over here. So I want to run away from no, and I want to run to yes. Raise your hand if you understand what I'm saying. If you live your life like this, you've lost. Because this is not how it is at all. Here's how it really is. This is how it really is. There's me, and then there's no's, and then there's yeses. It is impossible for me to get a lot of yeses without getting a lot of
No's.
It's impossible for me to achieve a lot of success without enduring a lot of It's impossible. This is not how it is. But this is how you think it is. If the only way for you to have massive success is to go through the failures, your mindset needs to be, bring it on. Bring it on. You guys, raise your hand if you understand what I just said. This is transformational stuff, okay? When you get to the point where you understand that the more no's you get, the more yeses you'll get.
Can't you just keep failing?
You can if you're so stupid you don't learn from your failures. The expression is Correct and continue. Let me hear you. Correct and continue. If what you're doing isn't working, maybe you need to go to an expert and say, I got to pay you some money so you can fix what I'm not doing right. Because there are other people out there that are doing it right and making a lot of money, I'm not. And somehow I haven't come up with the answer on my own, so I need help. Raise your hand if there are people out there that can help you. Yeah, or do you have to do it all on your own, figure it out all on your own, do everything on your own? No. If you want the answers bad enough, will you go anywhere, anyhow, any way possible to get your answers? No, you won't. You'll quit. But the really successful ones, they're on a frickin' mission. They don't have to reinvent. I'm telling you guys right now, every single answer you need to create financial freedom in the next 12 to 24 months is already waiting for you to just ask the right questions so you'll get the right answer. You're there right now. Turn to your neighbor, give him a high five, say, that's exciting.
Tuesday mornings with Jeff Fagin.
It's exciting. It's exciting. You guys don't, listen, how many of you guys really love to have freedom in your life? When you raise your vibrational energy, when you become intelligent enough to be able to disassociate from all of your old habits and create new, positive, empowering habits, skills like sales and marketing, you're there. Are there products right now that you think you could be proud representing, where you could start selling that? I'm telling you, we're going to create amazing programs for the 2% Club. You will feel proud and confident selling our programs. If you had a program programs you could go out there and sell, and every time somebody said, yes, you're making money, that's the fastest way I know to get rich fast. Sales has been, always will be the way. True. Right? Okay, and learn how to market so that you have a never-ending stream of qualified prospects. What kind of people? Qualified means that means they have 4 things in their favor. Who knows what the 4 things are that make somebody qualified? They're interested in what you want, right? So they got to be interested in what you want. What else? Yeah, they have well, interest and need pretty much go hand in hand, but they're ready to buy now. You're right. They have the money and they are the decision maker. Yeah. Okay. How many? So what are the 4 things again? Number 1 is that they have the need and the want. In fact, it doesn't even matter if they have the need. You don't sell what people need, you sell people what they want. Yeah. Afterwards, you can sell them what they need, but you start by selling them what they want. People buy on emotion, and then they justify it with logic. How many understand what I just said? You sell them what they want. Is want an emotion? Yes. Yeah. Need is not an emotion. It's not. Want is an emotion. You sell people what they want, and then you give them what they need. That's a key in sales and marketing, right? It's always sell the sizzle, sell the
sizzle.
Yeah, absolutely. You sell the sizzle and then you deliver the steak, but you sell the sizzle. That's how it works. Anyway, I want to get back to this real quickly. When you can get to the point where you can say, the only way I'm really going to be a really successful person is to confidently go forward, and when things don't work out, I'll correct and I will continue. What will you do?
Correct and continue.
You will correct and you will continue. Say it again. I will correct and I will continue. Tap yourself and say that. I will correct and I will continue. Yeah, you never stop. All you're going to do is what? Correct and continue. Yeah. So when you get to the point where you understand that if you want thousands of yeses, you're probably going to end up getting at least hundreds of no's if you have a great marketing system. What if you could create a marketing system where how many think there are people out there that can close anybody? Sure. Nope. I've never met anybody that couldn't close. Harv Eker couldn't close everybody for a variety of reasons. You know, I mean, not everybody is closable, but there are people that if they are closable, they get closed. You know, but I've never met anybody whose closing rate is 100%. Yes, go ahead.
Well, on Thursday you talked about the shoe salesman. He couldn't close everybody.
He couldn't close anybody, right? Right, he didn't. You're right. Yes, go ahead.
The key is, are you open?
Are you open? And
That's
absolutely.
first things we ask, are you open?
That's right. So, I mean, it's a numbers game. All business is a numbers game. If you think that that everybody you talk to is going to do business with you, forget it. They may have read your free report. They may have seen it come you speak. They may have been recommended to you. I mean, that, a referral gives you a much higher likelihood you're going to be able to get the business. But nevertheless, I've never met anybody that doesn't hear no. So the best thing for you to do is desensitize yourself to no. If you were desensitized to no, would you care if somebody said no to you?
No.
No, but do you think you take it personally and after a certain number of years, no, you said, that's it, I've had enough? That's most people all the time, right? They don't want to be that. So I want to associate myself in the level 3, the level 4, and the level 5. Okay. So we're only talking about the top 2%. Are you guys in the top 2%?
Yeah.
I want to be around you guys then, right? Okay. So you encourage failure. You say, bring it on. Right? The only way for me to get 10 yeses is to hear 90 no's. If I get 10 yeses this week and every time somebody says yes, I make $1,000. How much money did I make? If I get 10 yeses at $1,000 a yes, how much money did I make?
10 G's.
But I got 90 no's. Do I care?
No.
Does my bank account care? No. Does the resort that I'm going to spend all this money at care? No. The only thing I'll know is I got all this money in the bank. I don't give a shit, pardon my language, about the 90 no's. I know. Okay, so you desensitize yourself to the whole idea of no and failure. We're all going to fail every day if we're entrepreneurs. Did you know that?
Yes.
If you're afraid to fail, don't be an entrepreneur, get a job. True or true?
True.
Okay, well, you know what? You have to create some cojones, right? So now, once you get into the levels here, now, so we're at 99%. So you have 0.75, less than 1%. They not only do they encourage failure, but they encourage bigger
Risk.
and faster. I don't want to ask 50 people a day to buy my $50 product, and I make $40 on every sale. What I want to do is I want to ask 2,000 people a day to buy my $5,000 seminar. I'm gonna market to a lot more people, and I'm gonna ask for a lot more money. I'm going to still get a lot of rejection, but if I'm going to fail anyways, I'd rather fail bigger and faster. True or true?
True.
Right? Because now, if I market to 1,000 people, and 100 of them say, yeah, Jeff, 100 out of the 1,000, I got 900 people saying no, I got 100 people saying yes. Yeah, Jeff, I'll pay your $5,000 for your seminar. How much money did I just make? Come on. Can't you do the math? How much? Yeah. Right? And it didn't take me any more time to earn that $500,000 than the person that was selling a $49 course. Same amount of time, same amount of effort. I'm still going to deliver for 2 days, just like that person selling for $49 is going to deliver for 2 days. The only difference is I created a value proposition that in the eyes of my customer made it irresistible. Because all of us are weighing how much is it going to cost and what am I going to get in return for it. Isn't that the way our brain works? And there becomes a tipping point where you say, wow, I'm getting so much more than what it's costing me. This is a great value. And guess what your job is? To what? Create the value. Yeah, do you think you can be good at creating value? It's a learnable skill, guys. When you learn how to create value, you'll be amazing. So, the level 4 person says, well, if failing is good, then failing faster and even bigger is better, right? True or true?
True.
And level 5 person, which is like 0.25%, if failing bigger and faster is good for an individual, it's even better for a team, a group. Okay, so you collaborate. Because then you get something called synergy. What's the word?
Synergy.
Yeah, where the sum of the whole is greater than the individual parts. So if we got a whole room of level 4 people that want to fail bigger and faster and say, let's all come together as a team. Let's all fail bigger and faster as a team. How many of you guys have ever seen a light bulb? Who invented the light bulb?
Thomas Edison.
Yeah, well, you know what Thomas Edison did? He actually had a facility in New Jersey where he brought the world's greatest scientists and inventors under one roof. Now, do scientists and inventors fail?
Yeah.
A lot or a little?
A lot.
Yeah. So now he had a whole bunch of people failing like crazy underneath his roof, and they came up with more patents and more products than just about any other time in history. And since they were all under his employment, guess who got credit for all the patents? Huh? Yeah, Edison did, right? Because they were under contract to him. What did he do? He created a team. He created a team of people that were willing, that had the nerve, that had the chutzpah, that had the balls to fail bigger and faster. And together they created something extraordinary. How many would like to be part of something extraordinary?
Yes.
Well, the first thing you got to do is you need to separate yourself from 98% of all the people. True or true?
True.
Right? That's what you got to do. Now, what Harv says in this book here is he says, I have this company, Peak Potentials Training. And I have this 3-day event. Most people that come to my company, Peak Potentials, they learn about me and my company through our 3-day event called the Millionaire Mind Intensive. How many of you guys have been to it? Totally amazing event. How many of you guys are actually trained by Harv? Okay, just a couple of us here. He's just unbelievable, right? So what he would say is, you know, it's a 3-day event, and very often, you're using his marketing system, people would get to go for free. Now, if you're going from 9 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night on all day Friday, and then 9 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock all day Saturday, and then 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, is that a lot of value?
Yeah.
That's a lot of value. Okay. So if you add it all up, I think we added it up to like, I don't know, 30 hours of actual training. 30 hours. 30 hours where we have you in our rooms. And out of the 30 hours, we probably take somewhere around 5 hours and we teach you about all of our other programs. And we give you an opportunity to buy our other programs at seminar discount. So at really, really reduced prices compared to if you go online and get them. There would always be people that would constantly be complaining that they had to sit through 5 hours of sales. They thought that it was outrageous that they should have to listen to us telling them about these various programs. And so, you know, what Harv was saying is if you despise, if you don't like marketing and sales and promotion, you have no chance. Don't be an entrepreneur. Don't be an entrepreneur because it's just not right for you. Now, he says there are reasons why most people have a very, very negative attitude about marketing and sales. And he says, let's go through a few of them. The first one might be, did you ever have a circumstance in your life where you were encountering a very pushy salesperson? Raise your hand if you've ever had that experience. A pushy salesperson, they wouldn't take no, and you just, you know, they were just all over you, right? Okay. And it turned you off so much that in your mind you said, what a frickin' asshole, pardon my language, I never want to be like him. I never want to be like him. So if this guy you felt was overly pushy and you never want to be like him, what are you going to be? The exact opposite, which is what? If I'm never going to be pushy and obnoxious like this guy. I'm going to be passive. I'm not going to let anybody think for a second I'm trying to do them again. Right? I mean, because they were so turned off by that one experience, and they said, I don't ever want to be like that guy. True. And so they went to the exact opposite extreme, which is especially what we do when we really get turned off. True. That's what we do. That's how our brain works. Okay. So how many of you have ever experienced anything like that? Go ahead.
My first job was at a sitting in the car with a sales car. It's safe for that. That's pretty safe.
All right. So, what were we just talking about here real fast?
Pushy salesman.
Okay, so all of us has been in a situation where we were turned off by a salesperson. And it's so obnoxious. So you car sales people take it of people have a very negative attitude about salespeople. And if they have a negative attitude about salespeople, the last thing they want to do is what? Salesperson. I mean, well, how can you be good at something that you think is easy and you don't like, right? So, okay, so it's been turned off. All of us have. In fact, many of us have been turned off many times. And that's reason enough for us to program our mind to say, I'm never going to be like that person. I can't stand those people. This one. Another situation might be that, you know, here you are and you got chocolate bars or pens for the school football team or you know, amazing or something, and you know, kids get here, I don't see your in a situation where, raise your hand if you have a situation. And while you're feeling that feeling, how do you feel? How do you feel? Yeah. And your brain says, I never want to feel like that again. What's the best way to avoid? Huh? Don't do that again. Best way to not get that feeling again is to avoid it. True or true? Yeah. How many of you guys have been through that experience? Yeah, we've all been through that experience. Hey, Corey, let's give it up for our host, Corey. Okay, so again, you know, so many of us have been through an experience where we've been with an obnoxious salesperson. We didn't like it, so we put salespeople into that category. Many of us have been shamed because we were a kid or we were selling lemonade or something happened and was very, very negative, and we said, "Ugh, I can't stand selling. I'm not going to do that anymore." True or true? Now the third thing is, you know, one of the things that we know is that very, very often, you know, we're taught by our parents, don't brag. So if you're selling or you're promoting, a lot of people feel as though they're bragging. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And weren't you taught not to brag?
Yes.
Yeah, so for very many people in their programming right now, your programming says, well, I can't really promote because then I'm really bragging, and I probably, you know, it goes against my belief system to be a bragger. I don't want to be a bragger. Go ahead, Amy.
Make yourself stand out from the rest, especially in a pack full of, you know, other salespeople. Oftentimes, you know, you'll be asked, you know, well, what makes you different?
Yep.
And of course, what makes you different, you want to say what makes you better. So of course, what makes you better, now you're comparing, and like you said, now it sounds like you're egotistical.
Yeah.
And so it's very uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
Because I've been accused of, well, you're making fun of the rest of the people in your profession. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's not what I'm doing, but it's unfortunate you feel that way, you know.
But you know what? In their mind, that is what you're doing.
It is
so
what-
if they
it's
say
what they
that to
perceive.
you,
Yeah, it's
if
what
they
they
say that to
perceive.
you, then they're speaking their truth, right?
Sure.
So I never ever question if you say to me, well, what I'm hearing from you, Jeff, is this, and that's not at all what I said. Then I believe that that's what they heard. I believe they're
Right.
So I'm gonna say, well, you know what? I apologize because clearly I didn't communicate effectively. Let me say it in another way, so maybe it'll be clear.
Right.
So communication is key. In selling, it's key, right? But the thing is that most all of us have been programmed not to brag about ourselves. So instead of standing up and speaking and sharing your gifts or whatever, we're taught to keep it inside. True or true?
True.
And then the fourth reason that a lot of people are not into this whole idea of marketing is they kind of feel as though, well, I'm so great, I shouldn't have to tell anybody. I mean, you should just know by looking at me that I'm phenomenal and want to come and work with me. Raise your hand if you think there are people out there just like that.
Yeah.
I'm fantastic. You should, as soon as you look at me, you know you want to hire me, right? I shouldn't have to promote. True or true? True. This is all part of most people's blueprints. True or true?
True.
Yeah. If we went into your wealth file right now, we looked under sales and marketing to see what your blueprint currently is. Number one, you've been impacted by belligerent or obnoxious salespeople that turned you off, and you didn't want to be part of that pack. Right? B, you've been made to feel this small because somebody who was ignorant decided that they wanted to take advantage of the situation. They were in a bad mood, so they took it out on you, and you took it personally. True.
True.
The third thing is we don't want to be bragging, so I can't be telling everybody about what I got going on, or everybody will think I'm a bragger. Right? And then number 4 is, well, I mean, for God's sakes, look at me. Of course you want to do business with me. Why should I ever have to do any marketing and tell everybody what I'm doing? Everybody should just naturally know. Very true. Okay, so that's not true. That's how most people's blueprints are. That's how most of your blueprint is. That's not what Har's blueprint is. So what is Har saying? He says, you're probably familiar with the saying, build a better mousetrap and the world will be in a path to your door. And raise your hand if you've ever heard that. Yes. Build a better mousetrap and the world will be in a path to your store. And to your door. He says, well, that's only true if you add 5 words. If they know about it. What are the words?
If they know about it.
Again.
If they know about it. If they know about it.
Marketing is making sure people know about what your value is. To get not 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 people, but hundreds of people. And after you have a system to get your message out to hundreds of people, then you need to create a system to get it out to thousands of people. And once you have a system to get your message out to thousands of people, guess what you got to do next? Get your message out to 10,000 people. When you get your message out to 10,000 people, guess what you got to do next?
100,000 people.
And then what?
Scale.
And then what? That's how it works, guys. If you're currently serving 1 person a week, you need to come up with a strategy to be serving 10 people a week. How many think you'll make a lot more money serving 10 people in a week than 1?
Yeah.
And if you're currently serving 10 people a week, you need to come up with a strategy to be serving 100 people a week. How many think there's a lot of difference between serving 100 people a week and serving 10 people a week? Huge. So how are you going to do that? You have to scale up your marketing and sales and make sure you have a strong operations person, right? I was Har's operations guy, so that all the departments are growing fast enough so as all the sales are coming in through the door, operations can take care of all the stuff that needs to be delivered. True or true? True. So, I mean, some people are really good at operations, but operations is, you can find a lot more people that are good in operations than you can find people that are great at sales and marketing. If you want to become great at something, I'll tell you what to get great at. You know what it is?
Sales and marketing.
Sales and marketing. What does Harv say? He says, rich people are almost always excellent promoters. Excellent what?
Promoters.
Yeah, they can and are willing to promote their products, their services, and their ideas with passion and enthusiasm. Which means if you're not passionate about and enthusiastic about what you're currently marketing and promoting, get the hell out of it and find something you can be passionate about. Right? I'm passionate about helping you guys become multi-millionaires, or if not multi-millionaires, at least financially free. Everything we're doing at the 2% Club is to help those of you that really, honestly, truly want to do it and realize that the secret is just to reprogram yourself, especially in the areas of business, sales, marketing, systems. Everything is a system. Let me hear you say it.
Everything is a system.
Yeah, there are marketing systems out there right now, selling systems out there right now. If you knew it, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night. How many believe that's true? I know that's true. The answers are already out there right now, just waiting for you to ask the right question, look in the right place. True or true?
True.
They're there. They're absolutely positively there. So what does Harv say? He says, not only are rich people great promoters, and not only are they passionate and enthusiastic about what they're selling, how many think that that's so important to be passionate and enthusiastic? If you're not, again, you got to find something you can, because without passion and enthusiasm, did you know that sales is the transference of energy? It's actually the transference of enthusiasm. When you transfer your enthusiasm for your product or service to your prospect, that's when they buy. When they feel your confidence, your enthusiasm, your belief in your company, your product, your service, yourself, the value that they're going to get by coming in and working uniquely with you. Nobody else, no other company, no other product, no other person is better suited to take care of your prospect than you and your company and your service. right? That's the feeling you need to have. He says, what's more, they're skilled. What's the word?
Skilled.
At packaging their value in a way that's extremely attractive. Right? What you want to do is you want to get people eager to buy. What's the expression?
Eager to buy.
Can you figure out a way to get people eager to buy from you? Have you ever been eager to buy something?
Yes.
Yeah. Did somebody present something in such a way that you were eager to buy?
Yes.
Yeah. And you know how you do that? You attract your value in such a way, you create what's called the irresistible offer. What do you create?
An irresistible offer.
Yeah, you create an offer that they'd have to be brain dead to say no. I mean, by the way, can you learn how to create an irresistible offer? You think
Yes.
it's a learnable skill? Raise your
Yes.
hand if you think you can learn how to create irresistible offers. Sure could, boy. Irresistible offers make them eager to
Bye.
eager to buy, eager to buy. All day long, you should be thinking about what could I be saying to the person I'm talking to make them eager to buy. Because if they're not eager to buy, you think they're going to?
No.
No, absolutely not. But when you're a professional, do you think you can get them eager to buy?
Yes.
Yeah, with the whole pre-planned presentation with the incredible offer, an irresistible offer, to take advantage of what you've got going on right here, right now, while you're here, to make a decision to move forward right now. Do you think that if you became professional, you could be closing way more business more often? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. He says they package their value in a way that's extremely attractive. And if you think there's something wrong with that, then let's ban makeup for women. And while we're at it, we may as well get rid of suits for men. All of that is nothing more than packaging. True or true? True. And how you package yourself and how you package your company, your product, everything plays a huge role. Robert Kiyosaki. How many of you guys know who Robert Kiyosaki is?
Yep.
Yeah. He's the author of the best-selling author, along with Sharon Lechter. I always throw Sharon in there. God bless you, Sharon. Author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, a book I highly recommend, points out that every business, including writing, depends on selling. Every business. He says he's recognized as the best-selling author, not best-writing author. One pays a lot more than the other. True or true?
True.
Yeah. He says rich people are usually leaders, and all great leaders must be great promoters. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. To be a leader, you must inherently have followers and supporters. True or true? True. Yep, yeah. Which means that you have to be adept at selling, inspiring, and motivating people to buy into your vision. Isn't that true? You may not be selling a product, you may be selling a vision. Isn't that true?
True.
And the better you get at selling your vision, the better you're going to be as a leader. True or true? True. Absolutely, you bet. He says, even the President of the United States has to continuously sell his ideas to the people, to Congress, and even to his own party to have them implemented. And way before all of that takes place, if he doesn't sell himself in the first place, he'll never get elected. So the first sell is to sell yourself. You've got to be sold on yourself. You've got to be sold on your skills. You've got to be sold on your company. You've got to be sold that no matter what happens, you can handle it all, and you are the best person to take care of your customers' needs. You've got to be sold on that first. If you're not sold on being the best option for your customer, do you think your customer is going to feel that?
You're gonna sell
If
that.
you're totally, beyond any doubt, convinced, and the way you ask questions, and the way you present yourself, and the way you've rehearsed everything you've done, so you've said it 1,000 times, you can say it in your sleep, so no matter what he says, you know exactly the perfect way to respond to what he says, because you practice, like in football, you practice a play over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah, so when you get in the game, you can do it because you've already practiced a million times. It's the same thing, right? Exactly the same thing. You're going to practice how to become so great at being able. When you're a professional salesperson, you know what the sky's the limit for you. Raise your hand if you believe that's true. Because no matter what you choose to sell, guess what you're going to be good at? You're going to be good at the skill of
Selling.
Selling is a learnable skill. Let me hear you say that.
Selling is a learnable skill.
It sure is, absolutely. So he says, let's see here, we talked about being a leader. He says, the critical point here isn't whether you like to promote or not, it's why you're promoting. Why are you promoting? It boils down to your beliefs. Do you really believe in your value? Do you really believe in the products or services you're offering? Do you really believe that they will be of a benefit to whoever you're promoting it to? If you don't believe in what you're offering, if you don't believe there's real value in it, then find something that you can believe in, right? That's so important that you find something that you can believe in. All right, so I want to wrap this up. Wow, it's amazing how fast time goes by, right? So there's a declaration at the end of this wealth file. So I want everybody to please stand up on the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Woo! Okay. So I'm going to say the declaration first. Put your hands on your hearts so that you can actually feel the physical vibration as you say the words. So I'm going to say the words first, and then we're going to all say it together. I promote my value to others with passion and enthusiasm. Let me hear you. I promote my value to others with passion and enthusiasm. Again, please. I promote my value to others with passion and enthusiasm. One more time, twice as loud. I promote my value to others with passion and enthusiasm. Okay, turn to both your neighbors, give them a high five, say, you have a millionaire mind. You have a millionaire mind. Okay, have a seat, guys. Have a seat. All right. So for all of you guys in Facebook land, thank you so much. Let's give it up for Ruben, who's and we say goodbye to. We always end with one word. That one word is namaste. So namaste to all you guys. So thank you, Ruben, for that.
You got it.
Okay, for you guys, first.